Headshots with a 9mm is crazy. Me. Like, damn. Nigga stressing. I feel like that didn't just turn off. I feel like niggas lied. I feel like niggas cap. That shit don't make no sense, bro. Yee. Damn, bro, this iron sight getting on my fucking nerves. I can't even lie. Nigga, what? I swear you can call on the bus. missed the whole mag. That's crazy. Gotta respect the nigga for hitting a moving target with iron sights on a 9mm though. Like, that's wild work. Not enough essence. That's what it's called on this game. My fucking, like, finger hurt, gang. Like that. Like this. This whole shit. Hurt like a butt cheek on the stick. My car put like hell of water in it.
I literally don't even deserve it. You're giving me something that I don't deserve.
I have not found the headphones.
Why are you doing this to me?
Jax normally does the headphones. We're gonna be doing Easter eggs later though, so if y'all are enjoying the vibe and you want to see the game do some Easter eggs.
I'm about to say, bro.
2K2 just ran the new green window test for season 2 of NBA 2K25, and let's really talk about it. By the way, we'll be live testing this out. By the way, man. So. Get your mind right. Long story short, 2K2 basically said that there's a noticeable difference when using normal risk reward and high risk reward, quote unquote. Now, after
My mom was an addict about my name. Trust me, I still ain't care. I stepped there, came in, showed me the ropes, and he died. It's messed up, ain't it? I know how I feel when your house supposed to be your home. You feel like it's nowhere to go. I know how I feel when you try your hardest all year and you still got nothing to show.
You got nothing to show. You try your hardest all year, nigga. Bruh.
on this channel, we talked about the detriments of family content, and I thought I found the worst of it all. But this week I came across something that is total bull.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. And really the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything I've been through in the past 3 years, there's very little I have to judge people. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive. And like I said, I have learned a lot. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have in 1 bedroom of some of these houses I see, and it would really look like nothing. We try to teach our kids to take care of what they have, be grateful for what we have, and keep praying and pushing for the growth that we want. Appreciate you all watching. See you in the next video.
I just feel like that one goofy movie meme where Max enters the house and is like, damn, you live like this? Because, damn, you live like this? Now, before we get started in the video, I want to be clear. This is not an indictment on them and their financial situations. People aren't actually poor in America. They live below the poverty line, and they have to make do with what they have. With that being said, some of these people's actions, their logic, their reasoning, and their justification as to continue the bullshit that they have going on is something that has to be talked about. This is the resilient Jenkins family, a family that doesn't deserve any bit of praise or recognition at all, but hey, we're going to cover them on this channel. They're a family of 6 going on 7. The mother is pregnant with baby number 5 in this situation here. And they live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And again, this is an indictment on the financial status of these people. It's their decision making, their choices. When I grew up, my mom told me the stories about how she and her siblings grew up in an apartment of 1. She also has about 4 to 5 other siblings at this time. But the difference is her parents stayed in the living room and the kids got the bedroom with a bunch of different bunk beds. That's not the case in this situation. Both of them had kids outside of the relationship. They came together and started having more kids. The parents get to sleep in the room, the kids sleep out in the living room. The parents' room has a whole TV, a PS5, and a regular bed, and the kids have foam mattresses on the kitchen floor that they have to share with cats and things like that. The dad does a bunch of gig work and spends a bunch of time outside of the house. And that's going to come up later as to why that's important, because it's just going to tell the tale of how much of a deadbeat he really is. And the mother is a stay-at-home mom for a bunch of poor excuses, but we'll get into those as well. Now, both recovering addicts who met in some sort of rehabilitation center. Right. None of that's stopping them from continuing to do drugs today. While she has the baby, she is still actively taking drugs by...
Morning, by the way.
What's up? I've never seen that.
her social media account. And two, there's nothing stopping her from doing any sort of work that would most definitely contribute to the house in a meaningful way. But instead, she spends her time, like all these family influencers do, begging people online in order to pay for their lifestyle and make her some sort of mommy influencer. And I'm not a fan of this type of content at all, but the reality of it is that it exists. But the main thing about this family content is before anything, you have to take care of your actual family.
I'm not like you other girls. I'm very cute, you're very cute, you're very cute, and you are.
And if you're making entertaining and engaging content consistently, for sure, most people are going to make you some sort of influencer. But it's not something that you beg your way to being. Maybe in 2024.
As governor, my job is to keep Texas, Texas. And Colin Allred just isn't Texas. Allred supports open border policies.
Yeah,
He
waking
wants
up
to
doing
use
bullshit.
your tax dollars to pay for sex changes in the military.
The energy sector is rapidly transforming. Renewables are expected to surpass coal as the top global electricity source by 2025, with solar leading the
I
way.
ain't got shit for that game.
Solar energy generates over 6% of U.S. electricity, with a target to reach 30% by 2030, creating new opportunities to drive the transition to a low-carbon future.
Energy is the backbone of economic development, security, health, prosperity, and solar is the key to unlock this. We can create this access to low-cost energy that's very affordable and very reliable, because this will change the world.
In a special Washington Post live climate program, global leaders and innovators gathered to discuss the future of renewables, the policies needed to improve grid resiliency, and the emerging innovations that are shaping the new energy era.
Celsius is doing something that has never been done before here in the United States. You're putting almost the entire solar supply chain under one roof. Why take on something so ambitious?
We're investing in solar because it's the fastest growing, lowest cost source of energy today. We're on track to bring
Oh my fucking god, bro.
8.4 gigawatts by the end of the year, which is around enough to power about 1.3 million homes annually. Ultimately, we see solar as the key to the sustainable future, and we want to build that future right here in America.
Having every aspect of the manufacturing process in one location, how is it impacting innovation?
Innovation is always driven by learning rates. So having a streamlined supply chain means that we can connect the dots, enabling innovation at scale. So we also can then bring these new technologies to market more quickly.
You've been in the renewable energy industry for more than 20 years. You've seen it evolve. Where could the government do more?
We need to see our nation's trade laws enforced to make sure that domestic producers have a level playing field to compete on. And we need a provision to be implemented that supports domestically manufactured wafers and cells. So this is the only way we'll be able to see continued progress in bringing the bio industry back to the U.S.
Tell us about your commitment to spurring the energy transition.
The thing that sets Q-Cells apart is the breadth of our innovation in this realm. So in addition to building the technology in our factories, we're helping develop, design, and even build large systems for utilities to help them lower costs to their customers, and more importantly, increase the resilience of our network. So we're really excited about the future of solar, and the possibilities here are limitless.
Different. But this woman is so against the idea of working that even if it comes at the risk of harming her kids in the household, she is willing to not do it in the search and hope for social media clout and fame.
I'll be fine. I'm completely and utterly fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm always fine. Don't you know that?
Remember what I said here. The cat has a skin infection, and the cat is sleeping with these young babies that are susceptible to being sick and have a weaker immune system than adults. All this could be mitigated if they just decided to change their lifestyles up by having the parents be out in the living room, or hell, give away the cat. But no, the parents live a life of luxury. I know that's strange to say in this regard, but they're in their room comfortable with a television and a bed and a PlayStation 5. back when they just had a small amount of kids, but now they continue to keep growing, keep smashing, and keep making this some sort of game on TikTok by saying, hey, if you make me an influencer, I'll give my hubby another kid. It's actually disgusting work. But the problem is they can't control the outbreaks that are happening in their own damn home. They have months of lice and fleas to the point where it was uncontrollable. And prolonged lice and flea outbreaks in homes can be detrimental to the long-term health of kids. We're talking about the psychological, we're talking about diseases, we're talking about infections being passed along. This isn't the New York City streets. This is a damn home. It's supposed to be somebody's comfort, somebody's protection. But you can't even get it under control. At least alleviate some of the problem by putting your kids in the damn room and you sleep out there with the cats since you decided that you need to have them.
You listen here, you walking pile of panic attack. You're gonna inhale, exhale your way through this bullshit if it's the last thing you do. Your thoughts aren't real, your mind hates you, but you're...
The reason why I hate this kind of content is because it's putting to the side the safety, health, and well-being of the kids in order to make some sort of influence out of them. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know how this drug, deadbeat father, etc., is supposed to make good content, but that's the hope and prayer for them by moms.
nigga kicked me out, bro. This nigga here, bro. It's always. I got kicked out my game because you take too long. What'd you say? It's the last thing I'm doing, bro. This nigga, needy ass nigga. It's going straight to voicemail. I'm gonna give you one of these to keep. This shit get annoying. Nigga's insanely needy for a grown ass woman. Nigga swear to God, she independent this, independent that, don't need nobody for that. Nigga is needy as hell. Got kicked out my game, can't even fucking live stream, nigga, gotta go and shit, like.
At some point, CVS should step in because this is a person who does not take the health and well-being of her kids and her family very seriously. When she does decide to get
Bluetooth connected. She doesn't even listen to the doctors recommend that she doesn't do certain things to avoid complications with the pregnancy.
I have no idea how far along pregnant. Far enough along that the nausea is at its peak though, so that makes me think I'm about 7-8 weeks-ish. So this will be my 6th time being pregnant. I've had 2 miscarriages, 3 babies, and this is number 6, so we're gonna find out. We're praying for the best. Of course, we're believing for the best. Regardless, I find it goofy that when you're into your like 3rd, 4th time in a row, you really should not be getting so many questions by the doctors or like, you know, we highly recommend you don't mess with the cat box. Can you recommend to my cats they don't shit then? That would be great. Stay away from too many herbal teas. I'm gonna drink my teas, thank you.
I'm not a doctor at all, but I think that maybe there's some sort of connection to the habits that you have, you know, the continued drug use, the kitty litter use, you know, the disgusting conditions that you have in your household could probably be linking to some of these miscarriages or complications that you're having with your pregnancy. I don't know. I don't know. I may be jumping out the window with that one. I don't know. Now, the internet is trying to decide whose fault this really is in the grand matter of things, but ultimately, I'm here to squash all conversations. It is both parents' faults. And then there's a third party involved that people aren't necessarily thinking about that could be at fault here. And I'm here to say, yes, you, the people that are consuming this content, engaging and ultimately donating, are involved in being complicit in enabling the behavior that they are displaying on the internet. I saw just the other day that somebody sent the kids some bunk beds. Kudos to them, but damn, do not give them an out. Do not give them some sort of way to get out of working hard and providing for their kids. And it wouldn't even be hard work. Woman, just get a job.
So I decided to look up everything in regards to the whole resilient Jenkins family in Oregon and Portland and their standards of stuff of care and everything was supposed to. Off the bat, each child is supposed to have their own bed and own mattress that is adequate for their size. That's just the standard. That's just what they want. And when it comes to housing, usually it's supposed to be 2 per room. So in their case, you can, if the youngest child is like 3, you have to include them, but if not, because they can kind of sleep with their parents, it's supposed to be 2 per room. There's 3 kids. One of the children is not related to the other children, which I think that comes into bed sharing. So there would need to have at least 2 rooms for the kids, essentially. But being that they're going to add more children in, they're going to grow up, they're going to need at least a 3-bedroom, 100%. Like, there's no way around that. And also there's a way for the parents to have a room as well, because that is obviously extremely important to the parent to have their privacy, but it's not. But anyway, each child must have their own bed. They cannot bed share with someone that they are not related to. So no, the rolled up foam mattresses that come into play and come out of play during the day is not up to standard. I don't know if the apartment complex could get in trouble for this, or the parents could get in trouble for it, but it is in violation. Also, I looked up if there is a program, because here in North Carolina there is one in certain counties, where people will donate a bed to you with bed framing and I think a mattress as well for a child, free to the parent, no cost to anything. They do that in Oregon. I did look it up. They do that in Portland specifically. I looked that up as well. So for the fathers to say that they don't have beds because they broke them, I can see where people are saying the financial literacy is not there, the irresponsibility is there, because as a parent, I'm a parent of 3 boys. They have broke their beds several times. I have replaced them several times. That's just that. That's the law. And there is no excuse for them not to have replaced their beds. Yes, they broke them, but guess what? You still have to replace them because you're a parent. Children are expensive. They are not inexpensive at all. I did see on her wish list, they put a toddler bunk bed, up there. Someone did purchase it. That's great, but that's only for 2 of the 4 children that you have. Why didn't you put 2 bunk beds up there? Why haven't you looked into programs of replacing your children's beds if you cannot afford it?
Now, she did bring up a couple of good points, and I did want to address some of them. For one, even though you are potentially close to meeting the standards that Portland sets out for housing children, that doesn't take into consideration that you are bringing in prolonged health risks into their lives by having the cat urine be all over the place, by having the lice infestation and flea infestation, and by also having moldy laundry be in the house for long periods of time. Second of all, it is amazing the fact that there are so many government programs, communal assistance, hell, even churches and schools like provide these different incentives and programs for people.
Hey Ashley, I really want to plan a trip to New Zealand, but when's the best time to visit?
As a local, I recommend coming in spring or autumn. They're lovely quiet seasons with lots of availability for tours and activities.
Okay, but isn't it cold during that time?
Actually, shoulder season is the perfect time to visit. It's warm and comfortable in the middle of the day, and you can pack layers for the evening.
Huh, that all sounds good. New Zealand is just so far away.
We're not that far. Some flights to the US are similar to flying to Europe, so book that trip.
やっと10月の夢その希望の種を私たちに見せてください
To take advantage of. She can go to like the Goodwill and get a bed frame or the Salvation Army and get some bedding for little to no money. But these people don't take any advantage of that. Why? Because I think that they think it is cool to film this type of situation, to put it on social media in order to trick people into believing that they are in more help or more need than they actually are in. And then they can get the sympathy and the pity that turns into views and turns into dollars. And then third, but certainly not least, these kids do need their own bed. I can't stress this enough because there's a video out there running around of the dad saying, well, they broke their bed, so as a punishment, they have to go without beds. No, that's not how that works, especially when you have a bed. Kids do things, they damage things, they harm things. This is a basic necessity for them to live in the USA. And to act as if this is something that could potentially come up out of their pockets, and I'm talking about the parents, is crazy because like you stated earlier, you could just go down to the Salvation Army and get you a damn bed. But what they're hoping for is that she'll make an Amazon wish list, people will provide her with the things that she wants and needs and desires, and everything will be taken care of and nobody really gives a shit. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the dad in this situation because he is just as much, if not even more, of a player in how bad the living conditions are than the mom is. I don't know his name, I don't know anything about him, I just know two things. He's a deadbeat who doesn't want to work, and the reason why he's a deadbeat is because it has been discovered that he has a whole nother child out there.
Hi, I'm the first baby mama. I'm absolutely embarrassed the fact that that's my sperm donor. I will not be posting my child on here, but my son is almost 12. That man that everybody's saying they have two loving parents walked out of his son's life when he was 2. Hasn't seen his son since he was 5, and that's because I reached out to him to come to his kindergarten graduation, and at the time he only had one child, which was a little black boy you guys see in his videos. That's my oldest's little brother. Now my oldest doesn't even know he has 2 other siblings. So no, they didn't meet when he had one child. He probably has more. He hasn't paid child support, but he has a PS5. I feel bad for those kids because I never not wanted my son to not know his dad, and he's asked, and I've tried. Even his son asked, Mommy, I just want to know my dad. Why can't I see my dad? When that happened, I reached out to him. He read the message, never replied. So I had to put my son in counseling just because I knew it was bothering him, and there was nothing that I could say that was going to help him. I just told him, your dad made choices, and he chose to make those choices. It has nothing to do with you.
I have the one other child, Anthony. I've been paying child support via garnishments ever since I can remember. I worked out with W-2 since I was 18, 19. Worked nights, multiple jobs, never made above 22 an hour.
Work jobs that worked your body to the bone.
Yeah, I worked retail, I worked overnight, I worked at Home Depot, I worked at Jackson's, I worked at Grocery Outlet.
Now, naturally, because the dad is getting defamed in this situation for having a secret child that he's not involved in, he had to respond, and his response doesn't necessarily help any situation. He's basically avoiding W-2 jobs. He keeps referring them to as W-2 jobs, which only the people that know why somebody would refer to them as W-2 jobs would know why he's referring to it as W-2 jobs is because he is avoiding his wages being garnished by the government for the child support that is owed. He comes up and admits that, but these people blow my mind because they are so baffled, and some of the internet is baffled as to why they are receiving such harsh criticism. And it's not because they're poor, it's because they are intentionally neglectful of their responsibilities because they feel as if this is going to make the best story and best entertainment for the internet. I think this is one of the more extreme examples of the situation at hand, but to be honest with you, the way that people use their kids as props for the internet, public humiliation, trying to get clout, trying to get famous is actually disgusting.
I don't know if any of y'all have seen this viral video, but you know, everybody parents different, to each his own, right? But in my opinion, I think what he chose to do for his daughter's punishment was entirely too extreme. That is too much. Like, I think he could have just did the whole outfit thing and that been that. Bro took all her stuff out of her room and everything like that because she skipped a class. And by the looks of it, I know the whole world has skipped class before. I know it. So it's like, you have to give a punishment that matches the crime. You get what I'm saying? Like, parents nowadays do not be understanding that that is how you drive your child away. We have to break generational curses. Do not be that toxic parent that treats their kid like this and punishes their child in a certain way. That's how your kids don't come to you for nothing or don't want to be honest with you.
And maybe this is some of these parents' way of relating to their kids more, but honestly, it comes off as downright disgusting and it has no place to be on the internet, especially because they don't.
I was punished for catching my stepsister in bed with my fiance. They laughed as I suffered. 9 years later, I am back, and it's time they pay for their evil deeds.
Hello, beautiful. What's your name?
Are you waiting for Norseman?
Oh no, I have nothing to do with this horrible individual. I don't even want to see her.
Then draw the blind, sir.
Blind? Why?
Anthony didn't realize I was the same Nora he cheated on with my stepsister Angela 9 years ago. And that too on our engagement day. How could I forget the day I was humiliated, called fat and ugly, and nearly beaten to death?
What's worse? Getting dumped by the country's most eligible bachelor, or still being a sad